Welcome to the MHC Professional Development Series focusing on the subject of depression. I am your host, Angela Benedict, CEO of the Military Healing Center. Recovery strategies. Let's put this into perspective. Traumatic brain injury is a huge issue within asymmetric warfare. Over time, the impact to the head creates neurodegeneration because of the glial cells which are activated at the time of impact. The level of existing inflammation that was there before the impact will determine much of the success of recovery. The amount of inflammation that was there before. This is critically important. We can do more to manage our state of health prior to trauma. We control this. We can't always stop the event from happening. Security, safety, healing. These are phases of trauma recovery. Body care is part of security. What are you doing prior to trauma to ensure your successful recovery, knowing that in your job, trauma of some kind is to be expected in physical injury or mental emotional trauma? Your brain is headquarters for your body. When it becomes fatigued or inflamed, it doesn't work well. Excessive inflammation causes decreased production of brain chemicals and damages cells so they can't hook up to the chemical molecules they need. When HQ isn't working well, it's hard to think straight, focus, and stay motivated. The vagus nerve connects the brain and the stomach. If there is inflammation in the stomach, it travels up to the brain and causes havoc. The stomach is the operation space of the body. If it isn't working well, the brain can't work well either. The immune system is made up of chemicals that attack and destroy substances such as bacteria and viruses that are recognized by the body as foreign and different from the body's normal healthy tissues. Our immune system is not one organ you can point to and say, "There, that is my immune system." It is a myriad of different chemicals all working together or against each other. Most of these chemicals live in or are produced in the stomach. Infection, bacteria imbalance, and inflammation create damage all over the body. The immune system sends in the first responder unit to the site of the problem. If there is too much infection, the first responder unit can't keep up. Other departments are called in, other chemicals from the body. In this process, friendly fire accidents repeatedly take place, developing an issue we call autoimmune disorder. The chemicals brought in to fix the problem shoot everyone, even other good guys. More fuel comes in the form of food that is wrong for the body, more infection, and the inflammation spreads. There are not enough good guys to fight the fire spreading through the body. The endocrine system releases chemicals that notify the rest of the body that a major event is taking place. Now adrenaline, cortisol, and insulin will be released, adding to the confusion. Step 1. Cut off the fuel supply. The easiest way to stop inflammation in the body is by checking carefully the number one input that body has, food. Are you eating inflammatory foods such as processed high-sugar, high-acid foods, or anti-inflammatory foods like fish, vegetables, good fats, low-fructose fruit? Step 2. Put out fire. Eliminate the inflammation in your body. Turmeric is your best tool. Turmeric is the number one anti-inflammatory compound known to man. It has been used for thousands of years. An inflamed body is angry and on fire. Get the fire out. Quick facts about turmeric. Turmeric, because of its potent active ingredient curcumin, has a range of powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Turmeric is used as an antidepressant, anti-cancer agent, painkiller, to reverse insulin resistance and diabetes, as an agent to heal the gut and inflammatory bowel diseases, and in treating severe burns. Turmeric is known to be the most powerful herb on the planet and one of the most studied, including garlic, ginseng, and ginger. Curcumin is the active ingredient and in studies has shown to be as effective, if not more effective, than conventional pharmaceuticals. One of the powerful aspects of turmeric versus drugs is that it has few side effects in comparison to conventional drugs. Aspirin and ibuprofen are least effective at treating inflammation. Curcumin is among the most effective anti-inflammatory compounds in the world. Disease reversal is possible due to turmeric's ability to deal with inflammation. 1 level teaspoon of turmeric as a tea with half a teaspoon of black pepper, which helps our bodies absorb the curcumin, plus honey to taste, will deliver a wide array of benefits. Therapeutic doses range from 3 to 8 grams per day, depending on what the state of the body is. 1 teaspoon is roughly 4 grams. Curcumin is also available in caplets on its own at the health food store. If there is another power herb to integrate into your diet, it is cinnamon. A half teaspoon on your fruit and yogurt each day or in your smoothie will control blood sugar, heals infections in the intestine, and also has high antibacterial properties. Ginseng, rhodiola, and other adaptogen herbs lower cortisol levels in the body. but must be taken at therapeutic levels to get the effect. 1 teaspoon of root powder in your smoothie of each. It cannot be overstated how important food is in your healing process and in breaking the anxiety loop created by inflammation in the body. Change your diet, change your life. What else can you do? Breathe. Arousal control or breathing techniques are taught as a first line of defense in controlling stress. Quality of air is important, including inside your own home. Researchers from the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York and the University of Southern Denmark correlate a silent pandemic of brain conditions such as autism, cerebral palsy, and attention deficit orders to a study of 202 substances known to poison the brain as a tip of a very large iceberg. On average, we carry at any time 27 of these in our bloodstreams. Chemicals in our air, water supply, and food are poisoning us every day. We are under bombardment. A fraction of these chemicals are regulated in any way. We need clean air to breathe. We need to breathe deeply enough that we are providing our bodies with sufficient oxygen. Most people breathe shallowly, and the more tense they are, the shallower their breath. Some people hold their breath without realizing it. Deep, conscious, consistent breathing fuels our bodies. We need this every day, not just when we are in a high level of stress state and are trying to chill out. Get oxygen into your bloodstream. Not enough oxygen means critical chemical processes can't happen, including creating GABA, the neurotransmitter that is our in-house calming agent. Water. Stay hydrated. If you are thirsty, you are dehydrated. Cut out products that only make you feel thirsty again after drinking them and stick to water. Organize your life so that access to water is possible. The bottles are right there on the counter. They're there at your desk at work. Coffee is not water. Beer is not water. Tea isn't even water. Water is water. Maintain good fluid levels, but don't overdo it and flush your electrolytes. Many people with adrenal fatigue issues will have fluid imbalances. Even a 1% drop in your fluid levels can begin to cause cell damage. When the body contains the appropriate concentration of water and electrolytes, there is balance. To maintain a healthy balance, the 2,500 milliliter output of water through our skin, lungs, kidneys, and GI tract must be replaced with the same input. That's about 10 8-ounce glasses. When our body is depleted of fluid, the brain initiates a chemical chain reaction that leads to a sensation of thirst by increasing the osmotic pressure of blood passing through the hypothalamus. We respond to thirst by taking in more fluid orally. When the body has too much fluid on board, output is automatically increased, usually by way of the kidneys in those who are healthy. On top of our kidneys sit the walnut-sized endocrine glands called the adrenal glands. These glands secrete over 50 different types of hormones, regulating our ability to deal with stress, libido, inflammation response, fight or flight response, and fluid balance. Each gland contains 2 layers. The outer layer is called the adrenal cortex. 3 different types of steroid hormones are secreted here: mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and sex hormones. The main mineralocorticoid is called aldosterone. Mineralocorticoids are hormones that the body secretes to maintain an adequate fluid and salt balance. Salts are composed of electrolytes like sodium and potassium. These electrolytes affect the body's fluid content. Cortisol is the body's main anti-stress hormone. It also has a weak mineralocorticoid effect, and in high enough doses can work like aldosterone, which is a hormone that regulates our fluid levels. Basic biochemistry dictates that where sodium goes, water follows. They are like twins. Aldosterone signals the kidneys to reabsorb or hold on to sodium so it does not leave the body by way of urine. As sodium is retained, so is water. The more aldosterone is released by the adrenal glands, the more water is retained in the body. Because the cardiovascular system is a closed system, more water in the body will lead to a higher blood volume. This added volume increases the pressure within your blood vessels and translates into higher blood pressure if all else is equal. The release of the proper amount of aldosterone and cortisol by the adrenal glands is a continuous and automatic process. As the body senses blood pressure being low, more aldosterone will be released. The normal body, therefore, has an automatic process of internal fluid balance without us knowing. The problem comes when this regulation is dysfunctional or imbalanced, as in the case with adrenal fatigue syndrome. Get out of toxic environments. Check your home and workplace for mold and treat it like the poison it is. Monitor the use of chemicals and make the best choices possible in what you clean with. Reduce your toxicity level in your body by knowing what you are ingesting. Creating a stable home environment is critical to wellness. Actively creating a safe haven for yourself and loved ones may seem obvious, but home to some is not a safe, caring place. Creating that sanctuary is critical, so that when a traumatic event happens, we are already in a safe dynamic. Stress levels have to go down so that healing levels can go up. Develop community. This means people who make you feel good to be around. Get into nature. Getting out in nature, the park, a river, walking barefoot, going to the beach, to the woods, helps us recalibrate in a way that man-made environments don't. We get electrons from our environment that restabilize us. The Earth is the largest storehouse of electrons we have access to. Our bodies are conductive due to the large number of ions we have, electrolytes that are in our fluids. Free electrons or free radicals also move around inside us. When you ground, walk on the earth in your bare feet, there is an improved balance of electrons which affects our nervous systems and circulation. Exercise wisely without crashing. Most people within the military and security culture know they need to take care of their bodies. An assumption is made that because you're in the military or a firefighter, police officer, that by default you're going to be doing that, taking care of your body. We both know that isn't always true. Most people train to get through training. Then they start to get caught up in the long days, other demands, and stop exercising, even though they may understand that they need to remain physically fit to be operationally effective. This is going to sound harsh. I'm talking about the police officer who is too fat to run and has to drive, or even has trouble getting out of the car. We see this in military personnel as well. Can't pass the fat test? You may lose your job. We need to take a new, harder look at body care because it is tied to our resiliency, durability, and longevity. Most people in adrenal fatigue recovery should not attempt high-intensity workouts. Moderation and recognizing good days from not-so-good days, where rest is more important than the workout, is the better option. However, movement is critical. A gentle walk for 15 minutes every day will do more than a hard workout that leads to exhaustion of an already depleted system that takes days to recover from. Interval training is more effective than long workouts and is the least amount of effort for the best results. Use the 8 and 12 rule. If you are walking, walk hard for 8 seconds and rest for 12 seconds. Do this for 20 minutes. Exercise in the most effective way possible. Do your arms, squats, and abs. Get active and get outdoors in a way that you enjoy. Movement also needs to include leaving the house regularly, maintaining routines, meeting friends and keeping in touch, and generally avoiding stagnation. Stay in the flow. Do not allow yourself to become isolated. This becomes a much larger issue after a traumatic event when social trust may be damaged. Yoga is the most consistently successful recovery exercise practice. It includes stretching, strength training, breathing, mindfulness, and relaxation in one practice. Really think about doing a yoga class. Alpha males can do yoga too. Simplify and prioritize. Trauma amplifies. Fatigue is a major component. Keeping your life simple and uncluttered becomes all that more important. Your mind uncluttered, your home uncluttered, your relationships uncluttered, your diet uncluttered. Your body cannot stand extra stress when it is trying to heal. Maintaining simplicity is important to wellness. This becomes critical after trauma when there is no extra energy. Get to sleep before 10. Get 8 hours of sleep whenever possible. Sleep between 7 to 9 a.m. if possible. When your sleep is broken, your life is full of turmoil and desperation. That is the energy of sleep deprivation, starvation. When your sleep is solid and consistent, everything is easier. Sleep deprivation will increase your cortisol levels by up to 45%. You heal when you sleep, you lose weight when you sleep, you recalibrate your body when you sleep. If you don't get into a deep sleep, you are losing out in many ways. Sleep deprivation will mess you up. Make a routine, stick to your routine. No blue light appliances within the hour before you go to bed. No caffeine in the afternoon, no alcohol. But you aren't drinking those anyhow. You're drinking your water. The United States Marine Corps says that more than 48 hours of sleep deprivation means you are militarily ineffective. 5 to 7 days of broken sleep is the equivalent of 2 days total sleep deprivation. Sleep management is a combat multiplier. Insomnia is a major event of high anxiety experiences. Learning how to maintain a good sleep practice as your baseline is incredibly important. This is the primary result of the MDV program designed by MHC, Better Sleep. Food. Are you eating real food or plastic food? Are you eating too much or too little? How many superfoods do you know of and are including in your diet? Are you eating at the right times of day and keeping your hormones and blood sugar level? How can you simplify and clean up your eating habits so that you're giving your body the fuel it needs, even during shift work? Deployed conditions are not normal and you have to adjust, but what about the rest of the time? Manage blood sugar to avoid insomnia, inflammation, eat non-inflammatory foods. Eating well is a standard health practice that most people know now, but during recovery, everything is amplified, so the basics become even more critical. Putting stress on a body that is trying to heal itself by shoveling in food that won't help it is counterproductive. Food needs to be thought of as medicine, and your entire ingestion process needs to be reviewed. Drastically cut down on the sugar you ingest. Read labels and get the sugar out of your diet, including anything that ends in toast, like lactose, fructose, and corn syrup. If it is crap, don't buy it. Don't bring it home with you. It doesn't go in the shopping cart. Don't do it, period. The generally accepted rule is that your brain requires about 120 grams of sugar in the form of glucose per day, but it can get its fuel requirements from ketones from fats as well as protein. There are over 10 grams of sugar in a cup of apple, so adding up your intake of 120 isn't hard to do. Beyond that is excessive sugar that causes inflammation and destruction. Get enough compatible fats. Good fats are fats that are complementary to our molecular structure and won't do harm. Eat good fats like coconut oil, olive oil, and butter. Those are what you cook with, put on your salads. Be accountable for what goes in your face. This is your life. Cook your own food, eat out less, pack your lunch and snacks. Do some research. Look into a paleo diet as a guideline to get more proteins and fats into your diet. Understand that you may be dealing with an addiction to sugar, caffeine, or gluten. Act accordingly. Set up support, work with a partner. It will be hard, but worth it. Probiotics that include at least 10 to 20 billion active cells are live cultures and include at least 10 different strains of bacteria are what you want to include in your diet plan. Rest. If you are in an adrenal fatigue crash zone, your body is asking for stillness. It has to reset. Also, this is the biochemical reality of long periods of hypervigilance. For police officers, emergency response, and soldiers who have to maintain high levels of vigilance for safety reasons, being alert and responsive for long periods of time take its toll, and the body needs to recalibrate. We talk more about the effects of hypervigilance during in-class training. Practice mindfulness protocol. This is the protocol you learn during in-class training with the TTSCT course. This protocol is essential in mitigating the effects of PTSD, which creates intrusive thought loops that can be very hard to break without knowledge and training. Smile. It releases endorphins and makes your breathing exercises that much easier, especially when you are stressed. Smile, hold, and count to 30. Do this often. Thank you for taking the time to attend this training. For all training options, go to the MHC site at militaryhealingcenter.net. Be well, stay safe, and thank you for your service.